Wasteland Commander. Chapter 31, Supply Box Rewards. The group of corpses led by the mutated zombies and the group of children's corpses gradually gathered together to form a huge group of corpses numbering over 1,000. This group of corpses is more dangerous than the small fishing village, not to mention that they are just relying on a merry-go-round. Get ready, fire freely, don't let the zombies rush up. More than 100 zombie corpses are now spread on the ground, and the distance between the carousel cover and the ground has become even closer. Adult zombies can almost lift their arms to grab the edge of the carousel cover. The red alert soldiers immediately shouted forward and started shooting at the tide of zombies below. At this time, the time has reached 12 noon. Each soldier's bullets were refreshed and returned to full ammunition. The firepower immediately became fierce and began to suppress the zombie attack. Yi Fan took this opportunity to immediately convert the collected money. This wave of harvest is indeed not small. From the bodies of 200 female zombies, nearly 2,000 gold were actually collected. These money plus the money in Yi Fan's hand, there are already 2,500 gold. If manufacturing mobilization can produce 25, even army soldiers can produce 12. But Yi Fan did not immediately launch an attack. First of all, the new troops coming out are all new soldiers. The number has increased, but the actual combat effectiveness has not increased much. Another very important point is that the lid of this carousel is too small. It is already crumbling with more than a dozen people standing on it. If a few more people come out, it will probably collapse. If there are casualties, the money will be wasted. Yi Fan feels that the most urgent thing now is that they need a better foothold. This merry-go-round cannot be defended. Open the red alert page, click, create, and then start waiting. He glanced at Su Haoran. Su Haoran stayed about 300 meters away. It was difficult for him to get close to the corpses so densely packed. Yi Fan gave him an order to wait for the right time before taking action. The battle situation becomes precarious when agile zombies appear. Although those child zombies look scary, they are not a big threat because they can't get to the top of the merry-go-round. Only these agile zombies, led by a mutated zombie, appeared among the zombies. A quasi-agile zombie jumped in the air and jumped directly onto the merry-go-round. Its target is army soldier Luo Fei. Luo Fei is now Yi Fan's second strongest firepower. In his 1-star state, he is second only to the 3-star mobilization soldier Wang Hu, and even stronger than the 2-star Li Biao and others. The agile zombie rushed towards Luo Fei, suddenly jumped up and pawed. Luo Fei was caught off guard, and a large appeared on his shoulder. The zombie wanted to add another claw to Luo Fei, so Xiaotian pounced forward and bit the zombie's ankle, causing it to slow down. Luo Fei said nothing, held the bai bar with one hand, pulled the trigger and fired violently. A series of tongues of fire blasted the head of this agile zombie. Luo Fei, get back! Yi Fan even saw Luo Fei upgraded to 2 stars, but he still asked him to retreat and threw out a bottle of serum without hesitation. 2 medical soldiers immediately rushed up and helped the injured Luo Fei to the center of the Trojan. He was bandaged and treated with quick hands and feet, and injected with antiviral serum, completely unaffected by the raging war around him. Sir, 5 minutes is enough. Luo Fei can still go to the battlefield in 5 minutes. You can't get the fire line lightly, and the red police soldiers don't care. Okay, Chen Chuan, it's up to you. Just after Yi Fan's order was given, Chen Chuan fired. His target is the agile mutant zombie, because this one is the most dangerous enemy. The sniper rifle was equipped with a silencer and the sound was not loud. Yi Fan was also looking at the mutated zombie, and saw a ball of blood on the zombie's body, and it fell down. Have you been beaten to death? Yi Fan was overjoyed. He was most worried about this guy. No, this kind of zombie reacts very quickly and is harder to hit than the armored zombie. It blocked it with its hand, and this shot only broke one of its claws. Yi Fan saw that the agile zombie had climbed up again, with one claw hanging down softly, but this was not a fatal injury to it. After being hit by a sniper rifle, the zombie got up and rushed forward again, and unexpectedly came under the merry-go-round. This angle was impossible to hit, so Chen Chuan simply gave up on this goal temporarily and aimed at another quasi-agile zombie. This one is easier to deal with, it can be killed with one shot to the head. The soldiers kept firing, and the bullets were consumed very quickly. The sound of shooting together was too loud, and zombies appeared one after another around them, joining the attacking team. The corpses stacked up layer by layer are already more than 1 meter high. The taller zombies stood on the pile of corpses, and their arms could even touch the soldiers' feet. It is more convenient to shoot headshots at such a close distance. Yi Fan looked at the time, took out the 54 pistol, and joined the sniper team. The 2 medical soldiers also finished bandaging Luo Fei at this time, and the 3 of them joined the sniper lineup at the same time. 2-star army soldier Luo Fei immediately became the main force of the attack. His drum ammunition had been reduced to 2, and he was firing wildly, and his accuracy had improved too much. He undoubtedly became the strongest firepower point in the field. Had it not been for the many zombies that followed, this wave could even take away most of the zombies. The bullets that were just refreshed were quickly consumed in this high-intensity battle. Sir, we're running out of bullets. Wang Hu and Li Biao each keep a magazine. There is no need to keep the bullets of others. When they are all gone, they will stab them with bayonets. Nearly everyone's bullets were out, and their bayonets began to turn red. Even so, the zombies could not be stopped. The pile of corpses grew even higher. The heads of the zombies reached the top of the merry-go-round, and their waving arms posed a great threat to the soldiers. Stop shooting collectively. Get down, Yi Fan suddenly issued an order. Yi Fan's words were the highest will in the hearts of the red police soldiers. As soon as the words came out, the gunshots stopped and everyone lay down collectively. Even Xiaotian was lying on the wooden horse cover with his limbs spread out and his tail was not raised. Su Haoren in the distance ran to a place dozens of meters away from the corpses and threw the second grenade. One Star Scout can use 2 grenades per day. The grenade exploded among the corpses, setting off a fireball. Countless arms and limbs flew into the sky, and black blood even fell on Yi Fan. The huge explosion blew up a field of zombies and attracted the attention of many zombies. Cover me. Yi Fan jumped off the top of the carousel and jumped to the open space cleared by the grenade. Although he fell down, he didn't care so much. He immediately opened the red alert page and clicked on the building where the time was finally up. Place it. A tall building with a height of 5.5 meters rises from the ground. Defensive buildings, watchtowers. It was a square shape with no windows at all 4 meters below. There was only a room with windows on all sides at the top. A huge heavy machine gun was placed in the tall building. Yi Fan opened the corner door at the bottom and rushed in. Behind him, the red police soldiers jumped off the wooden horse and rushed into the tall building one by one at an extremely efficient speed. The people behind were Wang Hu and Li Biao. They poured out all the bullets in their guns to cover their comrades, buying them precious time. When the two of them arrived, they jumped down together to cover each other in charge. When they reached the bottom of the tall building, 2 black shadows burst out from the zombie group. It is the mutated zombie and another quasi-mutated zombie. Cack! Hands waving, Wang Hu and Li Biao were injured at the same time. However, the 2 mobilization soldiers did not say a word. They picked up the butts of their rifles and fired hard, knocking the zombies back a little, and then quickly rushed into the watchtower. Yi Fan closed the door hard and locked all the zombies out before they rushed in. There are iron stairs in the sentry tower. Everyone quickly climbed to the top and gathered in the room at the top. The medical soldiers quickly launched rescue, and Yi Fan also gave the last bottle of serum to Li Biao for use. Wang Hu is a 3-star soldier and cannot be infected by viruses and does not need to use serum. Yi Fan glanced downstairs. All the zombies, including the mutated zombies, were waving their claws in vain and roaring towards the upper floors, but they were unable to climb to the top of the 5-meter-high building. The zombies below have gone through a massacre, and there are still about 400 left. It's finally safe. Yi Fan took a deep breath and looked at the tired soldiers around him. Now everyone is out of bullets. As long as he can survive tonight safely, after the bullets are refreshed tomorrow, these zombies will definitely be able to eliminate them all. Yi Fan still had a bullet in his gun, but it seemed useless. Although there is a heavy machine gun indoors, this gun cannot hit zombies at an almost vertical angle. Let's eat first. Yi Fan was going to let the soldiers eat. They had run out of ammunition and food, and there was nothing to do if they didn't eat. At this moment, a handful of people suddenly flew from outside and grabbed the corner of the roof of the building. Yi Fan looked outside and saw Su Haoren using his scout wall climbing skills and climbing up from below. It turned out that he took advantage of the opportunity that Yi Fan and the others had just to attract zombies, and came to the guard tower, and now he actually rushed up. The agile zombies jumped up below and wanted to attack Su Haoren on the wall. Yi Fan took out his gun in desperation and fired the last bullet. Of course the zombie was not killed, but the momentum of the bullet really knocked it down. Su Haoren took advantage of Yi Fan's cover and successfully reached the top of the building. Su Haoren took out his backpack and took out a box and placed it in front of Yi Fan. Sir, the supply box is here. Yi Fan took the box excitedly and wanted to open it immediately. But a sudden inspiration flashed in his mind, and Yi Fan stopped moving. He had 2,500 gold before, and it cost him 1,200 gold to build the 5.5-meter number 1 sentry tower, and another 1,300 gold. At that time, we were only thinking about building the sentry tower, and we didn't have time to use the $1,003. After thinking about it for a while, Yi Fan decided to expand production. Scouts and snipers are all unique, but the firepower of the army soldiers made Yi Fan excited. Especially after seeing the performance of the 2-star soldier Luo Fei, he decided to produce a batch of army soldiers. The performance of military dogs is also good, and they have repeatedly made achievements at critical moments. One should be added. 13 minutes, 5 new army soldiers and a military dog appeared next to Yi Fan. The small sentry building was already crowded with 20 people and 2 dogs. Yi Fan thought and opened the supply box. Success is always reserved for those who are prepared. I hope I can win this time. I don't know if Yi Fan's prayer had any effect. The supply box opened and rewards appeared. Congratulations, sir, for receiving a collective star promotion reward for all red alert units within 10 meters. Thank you all for your continuous valuable opinions in the book review area. Thank you for your enthusiasm in applying for a supporting role. Although I don't like too many roles, thank you for voting and rewarding. 3 updates today. Chapter 32, Driving the Train. When Yi Fan was playing the game, he knew that some supply boxes would release collective star upgrades. However, this star upgrade is only limited to a certain range, and not all the units it owns have stars upgraded. Those who go to collect supply boxes and those near the supply boxes will have stars raised, but others will not. Yi Fan is very careful when playing the game, trying to let as many troops collect as possible, so that he can make money if he encounters a rising star. He has money now, and he wants to raise troops anyway, so he might as well build it and give it a try. I didn't expect it to be successful. The reward for this supply box is a collective star increase within 10 meters. 5 army soldiers were just born and immediately became 1-star soldiers. There is a big gap between starless warriors and 1-star warriors. Each 1-star army warrior has 180 bullets at his disposal, which is equivalent to adding 900 bullets to Yi Fan's firepower out of thin air. Even the newly born military dog turned into a star and looked very big. Yi Fan turned around and looked at all the units around him, his eyes suddenly lit up. In this Trojan defense battle, the total number of zombies killed has been close to 2,000. Before he knew it, several of his subordinates had actually completed their star promotion. After this collective star promotion, a big change has occurred. Wang Hu himself is already at the top level of 3 stars and cannot be promoted any further, but the other 8 mobilization soldiers have now been collectively upgraded to 3 stars. Not to mention the 3 Li Biao, the 5 produced later were also promoted to corporal during the battle, and now they were collectively promoted to sergeant. Each 3-star conscript has 210 bullets at its disposal. These 9 conscripts are a powerful firepower group. The 2 medics have also been upgraded to 1 star, and have an extra pistol magazine. However, their main skill is not combat, but medical treatment. You too, have your medical standards improved? Yi Fan asked tentatively. Sir, our current level and equipment are capable of performing simple surgical treatments. Yi Fan patted their shoulders happily. They were able to perform surgery so quickly. This star promotion was really a big profit. Su Haoren beside him was promoted to 2 stars during this star promotion. The 50-round silent submachine gun now has 2 magazines and 150 rounds. What are the main changes for you? Sir, my main change is my skill. As a 2-star, I can kill agile quasi-mutated zombies with bare hands. If I advance to 3-star, I can even kill agile zombies alone. Yi Fan has a deep understanding of the terror of agile zombies. The speed is too fast, and it is difficult for snipers to target them. He really did not expect that a soldier can kill agile zombies alone. He looked at the sniper Chen Chuan again, and the sniper also reached the 1st star. What about you? What's changed? Sir, the number of bullets of my sniper rifle has been increased to 20, and my abilities in all aspects have been improved. No matter whether I face armored zombies or agile zombies, within a distance of 1,500 meters, I will die within 3 shots. When the sniper was first created, it was to deal with armored zombies. After all, those things moved slowly. Unexpectedly, they encountered agile zombies for the first time, and the sniper didn't have much chance to show off. But it was different after rising to the star. He dared to say that he would die with 3 shots within 1,500 meters, so it was very likely that he would die with 1 shot. In the future, more and more battles will mainly involve dealing with high-level zombies. The star upgrade of the sniper is a huge gain. The star upgrade of the scout is actually to deal with people to a greater extent. Finally, there are the army soldier Luo Fei and the military dog Xiaotian. The military dog Xiaotian has become a 2-star mutant dog. If it was as big as a lioness before, it now looks as big as a male lion. At this moment, there was a companion beside him, and another military dog squatted next to Xiaotian with his tongue hanging out, looking like the 2 brothers were getting along well. Yi Fan knows that 1 dog and 2 dogs are completely different concepts. 1 dog needs to fight the enemy head-on, but 2 dogs can cooperate with each other. A good tiger cannot fight against a pack of wolves, that's the truth. Although dogs are not as efficient as soldiers in fighting zombies, dogs are not as capable as soldiers in terms of tracking, vigilance, and dealing with mutant beasts. With money in hand, Yifan is also planning to expand the number of military dogs. Among all the changes, none was as obvious as that of army soldier Luo Fei. Luo Fei's original weapon was a bite bar, but after upgrading to 3 stars, his main weapon changed. Turned into a domestic CS/LMB-8 light machine gun. Yifan also knows that this gun is modified based on the foreign Minimi light machine gun. It is a very famous light machine gun around the world. High rate of fire, large ammunition capacity, low weight, and long service life are all the advantages of this light machine gun. There is a tripod under the machine gun. The machine gun can be set up for use at any time, or the tripod can be folded and used as a large automatic rifle. There is a circular turntable in the magazine of the gun, and Luo Fei has a circle of bullet chains hanging on his body. In previous games, Samsung army soldiers were very powerful ground units, known for their ferocious firepower. Unexpectedly, in reality, Samsung army soldiers were actually equipped with machine guns. How many bullets do you have now? Yifan asked, looking at Luo Fei, an army soldier in the shape of a small Terminator with a yellow-orange bullet belt hanging all over his body. Sir, the number of bullets for the light machine gun is 500 rounds per day. Yifan nodded happily. A machine gun is a machine gun. It has advantages that rifles cannot match. Especially on the frontal battlefield, when the machine gun fires, it has huge lethality against the enemy. Several new army soldiers even consciously stood behind Luo Fei to show respect for their superiors. This collective star promotion has transformed Yifan's strength. Touching Form 54 on his waist, and looking at the 2 medics on the opposite side who had improved in strength, Yifan found that he seemed to be lagging behind again. There were 2 people who were probably about the same strength as me, but now they have left me behind. He finally couldn't help but ask Nana, is there any way I can improve my strength? Originally, I had no hope, but I didn't expect Nana to give an answer. Sir, if you can build a physical combat laboratory, it can be developed according to your commander's physique, but it is not yet certain whether it will be successful. Yifan nodded, feeling a little happy in his heart. Although it would still be some time before the actual building was built, at least he had a hope. Looking at his men, there were 20 people plus 2 dogs, strong soldiers, and horses. Yifan felt that there was no need to continue to delay here. Get ready to take action and completely eliminate the zombies downstairs. Chen Xuan was the first to stick his head out of the window, and a sniper rifle rang out. Reporting to the commander, the agile zombies have been eliminated. Yifan looked over and saw that, sure enough, the agile zombie whose claws had been injured by Chen Xuan had his head exploded and was lying motionless on the ground. The 1-star sniper is really powerful. Chen Xuan then took action and shot the remaining 2 quasi-mutated zombies one after another. Then it was time for the soldiers to open fire collectively. There were 300 to 400 zombies gathered on the ground. They didn't even last 5 minutes before they were already covered in corpses. Let's go downstairs and collect supplies. The group of people slid down the metal escalator, opened the iron door of the watchtower and walked out, spreading out to collect gold and silver for Yifan. But the amount of gold and silver this time is not much, many of them are child zombies, nothing. Some old zombies, daddy zombies, and park staff didn't have anything. They only found some jewelry on some young mothers. In the end, it was only more than 400 money in Yifan's hands. Okay, it's better than nothing. Looking at the amusement park now, there are very few zombies, and they are basically invisible. Even if there are zombies, they are gathered on the other side, which is relatively far away. Yifan has no intention of killing the zombies in the distance. He has already wasted a lot of time on the road and there is still a long way to go home. This watchtower is useless if it is left here. Yifan clicks on the recycling of the red alert and recycles the watchtower at half price. It cost 1,200 to build, and now 600 gold has been recovered. Including the money in his hand, he has more than $1,000. Yifan did not use the 1,010 points of money immediately. The money could be used to continue to raise troops or produce an engineer. Yifan had not yet figured out how to do it, so he would keep it for now and depend on the situation. Yifan led his troops and left over the wall from Yida City Amusement Park. Leaving here, the group of people who had greatly increased their strength moved forward quickly, passed through a residential area, and came to the intersection of Airport Road and Jianqin Road. Looking at the radar, Yifan has already locked the next route. In the city, there is actually a road where zombies are very rare and it is safe. That's the railway. Nowadays, high-speed trains are equipped with protective nets, making it difficult for zombies to climb over. If you go along the railway, you can even go directly to the train station in Yifan's hometown. Although there is still nearly 100 kilometers away, the speed will increase a lot. They took a detour from the small road in front of the station instead of going to the zombie den-like station. They climbed over the railway guard net and arrived inside the station. Here he even saw two trains that had collided with each other and both had rolled down the tracks. Fortunately, they were inside the station and did not block the train track in the distance. Avoiding the zombies on the platform, Yifan saw a white EMU parked in front of him. This car has not yet loaded any passengers, and the compartment is empty, so it has escaped disaster when the end of the world comes. There are locomotives on both sides and 8 carriages in the middle. Seeing this train, Yifan's heart moved. Walking this 100-kilometer journey is too slow. If I could drive a train, would I be able to get home easily? Su Haoran, can you drive a train? Sir, it's okay. Okay, let's get in the car and drive the train home. Thanks to Wang Jifeng Qi, book friends, for being the first author of this book. Chapter 33, Hometown. There were only a few zombies on the train crew in the carriage of the high-speed train. After Su Haoran opened the door, he easily took care of them with a silent pistol. Arrived at the front of the car, Su Haoran checked the dashboard and found that there was no power in the car. Sir, the circuit power of this car is being repaired, and it can't drive without power now. Yifan suddenly had a headache. This was the fastest way he could think of to get home. If the train couldn't run, getting home would be a problem. The 100-kilometer journey would probably take 2 days. Can't you fix it? I can still drive a train, but I can't repair it. Yifan thought about it, and it seemed that the only way was to become an engineer. Fortunately, he still had enough money after selling the sentry building. He immediately opened the red alert page and clicked on the engineer on the soldier page. Sir, the engineer has been created. It will take 10 minutes. Please wait patiently. 1,000 gold was spent, leaving only 40 gold in hand. 10 minutes later, the door of the carriage behind opened and an elegant man walked in. Wearing military uniform, hard hat, yellow vest, and carrying a large toolbox in his hand, he came to Yifan and saluted. Sir, Engineer Huang Jie is here to report. Yifan returned the greeting. Tell me about your situation. Sir, engineers are the scientific and technological units in the Red Alert. They can repair, occupy, and have certain manufacturing capabilities and learning capabilities, but their combat effectiveness is only equivalent to that of ordinary people. What can be repaired? Can repair basically anything? Can you repair this train circuit? No problem, it will take half an hour. Okay, let's go quickly. The engineer opened the door and entered the cab, where he started working. Yifan felt dazzled after watching it for a while, so he simply backed out. The red police soldiers were all sitting in the carriage, carrying military backpacks and firearms. They felt like troops going out to perform a special mission. Yifan couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction in his heart. These were his own soldiers, warriors with infinite loyalty. At this time Nana spoke. Sir, the number of troops exceeds 20. Please give the troop a quota. Only then did Yifan realize that, unknowingly, the number of troops had exceeded 20. 11 soldiers are mobilized, 9 of them are here, and there are 2 more in the villa of Shangzhe Jiangshan. 6 army soldiers, 1 scout, 1 sniper, 2 medical personnel, and 1 engineer. There are also 2 military dogs. 22 people, plus 24 military dogs. But he didn't quite understand what Nana meant by the quota. Sir, capacity refers to the fixed number of people in each battle sequence of the army, such as the number of people in a squad, the number of people in a platoon, and the number of people in a company. Yifan understood that in the real world, the number of a combat squad in the Qin and Han dynasties ranged from 6 to 10, depending on the type of soldiers. Now for the order of battle of your own troops, you need to determine the number of people by yourself. How many people are in a squad? If calculated based on 8 people in a class, there were 24 people in the previous class, and my number was actually barely enough for a platoon. But there are some differences here, such as engineers, scouts, snipers, etc., which cannot actually be included in the sequence of combat squads. Special units should be managed directly by the platoon. There are also medical staff and military dogs, which cannot be included in the order of battle. Yifan thought for a while. When can I be promoted to company commander? Sir, when the number of ordinary combatants under your command exceeds 24, you will be promoted to company commander. Well, then, the maximum number of people in a combat squad is still 8, but it is limited to ordinary combatants, that is, army soldiers and conscripts, and other combat units are not included. The total number of combat units in a platoon should be 32, excluding vehicles. As for the company, I'll wait until I reach the company commander. Yifan calculated that there are 24 ordinary combat units, each squad is equipped with a military dog, and a platoon is equipped with 2 medical soldiers, and then plus scouts and sniper engineers, it is basically full. However, he does not plan to start making appointments immediately, at least until the number of troops under his command increases. After he finds his family, he will immediately be promoted to the authority of company commander. After a busy day, Yifan ordered to start eating. The buns made by the Su sisters are indeed delicious, but a little cold. Fortunately, the red police soldiers will not have any physical diseases as long as they do not eat rotten things. After dinner, Engineer Huang Jie finally finished his work. Sir, the circuit system has been restored and the train can run. Yi Fan was overjoyed. Su Haoren, drive quickly, the target is Qingguan Town in Lingshui County. Understood, sir, we'll be there in half an hour. The EMU started and slid slowly on the rails, attracting the attention of some zombies in the distance. They staggered towards the side, but they could not catch up with the speed of the train, and soon the train disappeared from their sight. After a while, the speed of the car increased to more than 200 yards. Although it is almost a week since the end of the world, the power plant is still running. However, Yi Fan estimates that in another half month or 20 days at most, the power of the power plant will be reduced. Stop and the world will fall into darkness. When there is electricity, the survivors can still support themselves. Once the electricity is cut off, many people will be at a loss and have to come out of their hiding places to start a more backward and primitive life. At that time, the casualties will definitely increase greatly, and a new round of disaster will begin. Whether the world can be saved or not, Yi Fan is not sure, but he knows that he does not want to watch the world fall. It is best to find your family, but what about after you find your family? Yi Fan looked at the scenery outside the window and fell into deep thought. The train left the coal city and entered the wilderness. After driving for a while, a new town appeared in front of it. Lingshui County and Coal City border each other, and the distance is not too far. Qingguan Town is between the two, which is Yi Fan's hometown. But there is no high-speed rail station in Qingguan Town. Yi Fan used to take a bus when he went home. To take a train, he had to get off at Lingshui and go back 20 kilometers. But this time there is no need. The train is driven by my own people and can stop directly here in Qingguan Town. Seeing Qingguan Town appear in the field of vision, Yi Fan felt a sense of cowardice in the countryside. He was very worried that his parents had died in the first wave of crisis. I have to say that this possibility is very high. But he always held out hope that he could survive, and with such an adventure, it was very likely that his parents would also survive. Since God has favored you, you should be kind to your family. The train stopped at the nearest place to Qingguan Town. Now there is no need to worry about blocking the road for other vehicles. There are trains on both sides, you can drive, and you can return at any time. Yi Fan led everyone out of the car. This place is only 2 kilometers away from Qingguan Town, so you can just walk there. He first opened the map and looked at the surrounding situation. Qingguan Town is a medium-sized town with a population of about 100,000, of which about 30,000 people live in the town. With the outbreak of the biochemical crisis, if most of these 30,000 people mutated, it would actually be a lot, but they have already experienced great storms, and Yi Fan really doesn't care much now. With more than 20 people each carrying stars, as long as there is a defensive position, zombies with less than 3,000 are basically not a big problem. If there are more than 3,000, the opponent will be killed if it takes a few more days. Yi Fan did not turn off the radar screen, he wanted to see the situation here through the radar screen. The team moved forward, and Yi Fan stopped when they approached the edge of Qingguan Town. His heart felt a little cold. Because he had already seen his home on his radar. His house is a bungalow, there is no overlap like buildings, and there are no blue light spots in the house. This also proves that there are no survivors in the family. Are they no longer here? Yi Fan felt sad. But he discovered another problem. There was no blue light spot at home, but there was also no red light spot. That means there are no zombies in the house. Did they go out when the crisis broke out? That shouldn't be the case. They usually take a nap at noon. With a glimmer of hope, Yi Fan expanded the map and searched throughout Qingguan Town. Well, there are a lot of blue light spots here. Soon he locked onto a place, Donghua Restaurant in the western suburbs of Qingguan Town. This is a restaurant that hosts banquets. If there are weddings in town, the banquet will be reserved here. Yi Fan himself has eaten here several times. The restaurant is not small, and it is relatively far from the center of the town. The radar map shows that there are nearly 100 survivors here. Yi Fan saw a lot of blue light spots on the way here, but he had no intention of paying attention to it, but it was different here. Since there are so many survivors, it proves that it is possible for parents to still be alive. Let's go to the restaurant and have a look. Chapter 34. Survivor Camp. The closer Yi Fan got to Donghua Restaurant, the more nervous he felt. The radar map shows that the zombies that are closer to here are about more than a kilometer away, but there is not a single zombie within a diameter of 2 kilometers around here. I don't know how these survivors did it. From his place, you can even see the shadowy figure patrolling on the roof of Donghua Tower. Remembering the last time he faced an attack on a survivor, Yi Fan felt a little unsafe. Get everyone ready to surround this Donghua building and go into search. After the order was given, the red alert soldiers immediately lined up and ran in an orderly manner. Two military dogs ran ahead with their tongues hanging out, and the soldiers loaded their bullets. Sniper Chen Xuan found a tree and prepared to climb to the commanding heights. As long as Yi Fan gave the order, he could kill the opponent's patrol personnel at any time. Scout Su Haoren picked up the submachine gun, and the infrared beam was already shooting out. It felt like watching a movie while walking. Yi Fan ran forward 2 steps and suddenly stopped. "Wait a minute, pull back everyone," the soldiers ordered and prohibited, and soon returned to Yi Fan. He stood there and thought for a while, feeling that this was not going to work. First of all, he doesn't know if his parents are here yet. If they are here, will there be any surprises if he goes in rashly? After all, the situation inside is still unclear. Thinking of this, Yi Fan thought it would be better to check first to confirm whether the person was there. "Su Haoren, come here." Su Haoren was called over by Yi Fan and was given a face-to-face instruction. "My father's name is Yi Jiangwo, and my mother's name is Su Lizhen. Their appearance is probably like this." Yi Fan talked about his parents' appearance and characteristics for a while, and Su Haoren nodded to express his general understanding. Yi Fan's father Yi Jiangwo's birthday happened to be on National Day, so he was named this. In the past, factory workers were laid off, and they opened a tofu shop to buy tofu. They were hardworking, but they were rigid and did not know how to adapt. Although the tofu was delicious, they could only make ends meet. Mother Su Lizhen is a teacher, but she retired 2 years ago and has a little pension. She usually helps her father make tofu at home. The old couple don't make much money and basically don't spend it much, either for themselves or for their younger sister Yi Luo. Now approaching the gathering point of survivors, Yi Fan was a little hesitant to go there immediately for fear of seeing his parents not there, so he asked Su Haoren to go over and investigate first. Su Haoren accepted the order, observed the movement of the surveillance person on the roof, and then quietly lurked over. Seeing Su Haoren approaching the restaurant, Yi Fan ordered the others to spread out and cover Su Haoren from all angles. If he encountered danger, the people around him would be able to shoot and protect him immediately. These are all excellent warriors, and they immediately found bunkers around them to ambush. It's September, the grass is still green outside, and the vegetation is lush. Their camouflage uniforms blend well into the surrounding environment. Every window and corner of the entire building was monitored, and Sniper Chen Xuan set up an ambush in the distance. If anyone showed signs of danger, he would shoot and kill him immediately. Yi Fan saw Su Haoren tumbling over a mound and approaching the side of the restaurant. The watcher on the roof walked to the other side at this time. Su Haoren seized the opportunity, threw out the flying grab from his waist, and grabbed the edge of the roof of the restaurant. Like a civet cat, he suddenly ran out of the grass, swish and swish. Su Haoren came to the bottom of the restaurant wall, which was a blind spot in his sight. Hitting his feet on the wall, grabbing the rope with both hands, he rushed up. Arriving at the window on the 2nd floor, Su Haoren stopped. There are windows on both sides of the restaurant, but the side near the town is completely blocked, not letting in any light at all. This side is close to the wild, and the windows are blocked, but not blocked. There are still some gaps for ventilation, otherwise the people inside will not be able to stand it for a long time. Su Haoren did not stick his head over to look, but took out a folding mirror. This is also his special forces equipment. Through the principle of light refraction, only a small tube can be used to see places that cannot be seen from normal angles. The small tube was attached to the window. Su Haoren aimed his eyes at the other end and began to check the situation indoors. "Sir, Scout Su Haoren requests that you switch to his perspective." "Do you agree?" "Agree, switch immediately." Yi Fan couldn't wait any longer. As the perspective switched, he immediately saw what Su Haoren saw. The 2nd floor of the hotel has been turned into a large hotel. On the opposite side, quilts were scattered on the ground, one by one. But there is basically no one lying on the quilt now, and the survivors are working on one side here. Some people are cutting the cabbage and distinguishing the outer part from the inner part. Put the good heart part of cabbage, the tender parts together, and the old leaves on the outside together. Some women are mending clothes, but they are also divided into 2 types. Some clothes are fine and strong, and they are more beautiful. Some clothes are rather tattered and can barely be worn. There are a few men who are getting some meat, putting good meat together, fat, bones and so on. Some people also pack some of the fresh food they collected into boxes, packing all the unexpired food and putting the expired food on the other side. There are more than 40 survivors, and none of them look very strong, and seem to be a little weak. There is another table in the corner, and several young men are smoking. A young man was smoking and wiping a police pistol. "Brothers, this thing is really exciting. It's the first time I've used this kind of real thing in my life. When I beat that tall zombie that day, it was thanks to this thing." Bang! One shot in the head. "Haha, stop showing off, you were able to kill that zombie that time, thanks to Brother John for leading the zombie army away." If Brother Jiang hadn't been so strong, we might have died in that wave. Where would we still be like now? Have a good life. Yes, Brother Jiang is the strongest person I have ever seen, and he is also a righteous man. If you ask me, we, number 20, can already survive in this apocalyptic world, and we are still popular and drink spicy food. We still have to carry these useless old, weak, sick and disabled people, and we have to give them food every day. You can't say that. Without these old, weak, sick and disabled people to work for us, we would have to do a lot of things ourselves. Can you do the menial work? I can't do it. As he said that, the young man with the gun yelled at the survivors, "Move quickly, take your time, can't you understand what Brother Jiang said? Good things are reserved for us combatants. You people don't have to go out to kill zombies, just be grateful if you have a mouthful of porridge to drink and 2 mouthfuls of vegetables to eat every day." The survivors lowered their heads and did not dare to make a sound, and the work at hand speeded up. Yi Fan looked through the perspective and couldn't help but feel a little anxious when he didn't see his parents. At this time, the door of the single room in the distance opened, and someone suddenly came out. A woman. A woman who was fairly fashionably dressed. Yi Fan was stunned for a moment. He knew this woman. High school classmate Lan Lily was not admitted to college. She was pretty good looking when she was in school, and she didn't have much time to study. She was the kind of girl who was more adventurous. I didn't expect that this person was still alive and came back here. After Lan Lily came out, she stretched out her arms and exposed a small waist, which made the young men look askance. Sister-in-law. Hello, sister-in-law. A few people stood up, nodded slightly, bowed their waists, and smiled flatteringly. Oh, don't call me old, sister-in-law. I am only 21 years old. A few people apologized and praised Lan Lily for her youth. You guys, Brother Jiang, are fighting landlords inside. I'm a little hungry and I want to ask when the meal will be served. Oh, we're working on it right now. For dinner, we have cabbage stewed with tofu and stir-fried pork. The meat is from the pig farm, the tofu is made by the old couple in our town, and there are cans and beer. I'll give it to Brother Jiang in a moment. Sent over. Hurry up. We are all counting on Brother Jiang to survive. Brother Jiang's nutrition must be a priority. If anyone is vague about this, then he should be prepared to have close contact with zombies. Lan Lily gave some arrogant instructions, straightened her clothes and returned to the single room. Yi Fan didn't pay attention to anything else, but he heard a key sentence. Lao Yi and his wife. Everyone is generally slow to respond to updates, so Kuratsuchi should try to increase the speed and ensure that there are 3 updates most of the time. There are 3 updates today. You must know that everyone is not quick to update the new book issue, and Black Earth is still opening in double editions. This has been done to the best of our ability. I hope you understand. Chapter 35, Shock, 3rd update. Hearing this sentence is enough for Yi Fan. As long as his parents are here, he doesn't want to worry about anything else. But he still had an extra thought and asked Su Haoren to go to the window of the single room to take a look. Because Brother Jiang, who heard these people talking, seemed to be a pretty awesome person. After Yi Fan experienced the last attack on survivors, he already had a new understanding of human nature in the end of the world. When the constraints of law and morality are lost, the evil side of human nature is often magnified countless times. This group of people seems to be quite large, and he does not want to make the same mistakes again. Su Haoren followed Yi Fan's instructions and went to the window where the single room was located. There were 7 people inside, 3 men and 4 women. Lan Lily and another woman were nestled next to a muscular man. There are also 2 women, each relying on a man and speaking frivolously. 3 men are fighting against landlords, but what they win is not money, but bullets. The man Lan Lily was clinging to had the most bullets. He already had dozens of bullets, while the other 2 men only had a few bullets left. Yi Fan was stunned when he saw this man, because he knew him again. Who he thought Brother Jiang was, turned out to be a relative of his who was out of reach, Zhang Shilong. This relative is far enough away. He has turned countless corners and is not related by blood, but he lives not far from Yi Fan's house. Sometimes he comes back to Yi Fan's house to buy tofu. But Yi Fan had basically never spoken to him. Yi Fan looked down on him, and he also looked down on Yi Fan's house. If Yi Fan's house hadn't sold tofu, he would never have entered Yi Fan's house once in 8 lifetimes. Yi Fan still remembers that when he was in high school, Zhang Shilong went to the police station to work as a joint defense officer. This kid was not a good guy to begin with, but he usually acted ruthlessly, was courageous and powerful, and was a good athlete. After arriving at the police station, he became even more rampant and became the #1 person in Xingguan town. But in Yi Fan's impression, although Zhang Shilong is quite strong, he is not as strong as he is now. If he were wearing clothes, this person might not be able to tell much, but now he is shirtless, and the muscles on his body are smooth, and each part is very stylish, like a strong leopard. Although he is a little thin, he can make people look at him at a glance. You can see it's not simple. Zhang Shilong was the master now. 2 explosions brought spring, and the other 2 people were beaten to death. One of them threw down the cards angrily. Brother Jiang, you are so lucky. Why are you so powerful now that all the cards listen to you? Lan Lily said coquettishly from the side. Brother Jiang is a person who is taken care of by God. This is in the end of the world. If it were in the past, Brother Jiang is now the world-running champion. What about 100 meters, 1,000 meters, 10,000 meters? I don't believe anyone can outrun Brother Jiang. Zhang Shilong sneered. I really want to thank this world. If it weren't for this world, I'm afraid I wouldn't be where I am today. I can do whatever I want, and I can play with any woman I want. As he spoke, he looked at the other woman next to him. Is your husband still obedient now? Don't mention that wimp. Since you beat him up, he has become completely honest. Now I let him grind for Lao Yeto. He is better than a donkey. The woman giggled, obviously no longer attached to her ex-husband. A man next to him shuffled the cards for Zhang Shilong and said with a little worry, Brother Jiang, will we have any sequelae in the future? Zhang Shilong snorted, don't worry, I found out everything. It happened to be noon when the apocalypse broke out, and people from the nearby military region were eating in the cafeteria. It seemed like a meteor crashed in, and it was a ruin. The chance of mutation for those alive was particularly high. Gao, basically no one can escape, and the same is true in other places. We don't even have the army anymore, who can still cause trouble for us? As for the local police station, let alone me. I am the only one left in our station, and the rest have turned into zombies. Otherwise, where did our weapons come from? Who can control me now? What kind of system rules? I am the rule. Hearing Zhang Shilong's words, the other people were even happier and their attitude towards him became more and more flattering. Yifan ordered Su Haoran not to look here anymore, and to go to the first floor to see his parents. Su Haoran went to the window on the first floor and saw Yifan's parents grinding tofu. They also looked unhappy and looked a little malnourished. There is another person grinding the mill for them, I don't know who it is. After seeing that his parents were indeed still there, Yifan felt relieved and ordered Su Haoran to retreat. Sitting behind a tree far away from the restaurant, Yifan was thinking about this matter. If you are an ordinary survivor, or if you have no parents inside, this matter is very easy to handle. Whether it is to occupy this place or to bulldoze it is not difficult. But parents should be more cautious there, especially when Zhang Shilong shows extremely ambition. This man has completely lost his scruples, just like the butcher in the supermarket. As long as he is threatened, even a soldier will dare to wield a knife. And according to Yifan's judgment, Zhang Shilong has mutated. It is not a mutated zombie, but it has evolved. Zhang Shilong was obviously not that strong before, but now that he saw him, Yifan felt like he saw an agile zombie in an amusement park. Coupled with what Lan Lily and others said, Yifan determined that he was a speed user. The zombies are probably far away from here, and they should have been led away by him. So Yifan decided to talk to this person. If he only took his parents away, he wouldn't refuse. Yifan is very clear about the quality of this person, but at least he saved his parents once. If he knows the current affairs, Yifan doesn't want to interfere too much. But for this kind of person, Yifan doesn't want to have a fair face-to-face negotiation. With such a powerful force in his hand, it's better to grasp the situation first and then talk. Yifan immediately summoned the team. Always obey my command and remember one purpose, which is to absolutely ensure the safety of my parents. The red police soldiers agreed in unison, and then Yifan made the following arrangements. 5 one-star army soldiers lurked quietly at the window, and could break in at any time as long as Yifan gave an order. Su Haoran, Luo Fei, 2 military dogs, and all 9 3-star mobilization troops followed him to find Zhang Shilong. Medical personnel are ready to help immediately if someone is injured. Sniper Chen Xuan followed quietly, ready to shoot at any time. Everything was ready. Yifan came to the front of the restaurant with 11 people and 2 military dogs. There is a wall blocking the outside of the restaurant, which seems to be newly built, and there is an iron gate. Yifan has to go into the yard first. As long as he goes in, he can control the situation. As soon as they approached the restaurant, the patrolman on the roof saw them. He immediately picked up the double-barreled shotgun in his hand and shouted, "Who are you? Stop and don't move." Su Haoran immediately stood in front of Yifan, and the red dot of the submachine gun in his hand was pointed directly at the man's heart. Luo Fei, Wang Hu and others raised their guns at the same time, especially Luo Fei. After being promoted to a 3-star army soldier, he is currently the first firepower of Yifan's team. The light machine gun was raised, and the yellow-orange bullets shined in the sun. The people on the roof couldn't help but sweat dripping from their heads. Facing the powerful firepower from Yifan's side, this man's feet couldn't help but feel a little weak. Didn't you say that all soldiers have turned into zombies? Where did you come from? Yifan said coldly, before you speak, throw down the gun in your hand. What did you say? You asked me to throw the gun? What the fuck? Throw it down. Or I'll kill you. The pitch suddenly increased an octave, and Yifan took out the 54 from his waist with a clatter. His face was as cold as frost, and his sharpshooter aura was clearly revealed. The people on patrol were really shocked by Yifan. The opponent's powerful firepower and shining epaulets seemed to have revealed their identity. Although he now has a gun in his hand, compared with the people opposite him, his double-barreled hunter is a complete rubbish. Especially when he saw a red dot landing on his heart, he was completely frightened. He hurriedly put the double-barrel hunter underground and said anxiously, Comrade, you listen to me, we are just a gathering place for survivors. We have saved many people, and we have merit. Stop talking nonsense, come down and open the door. At this moment, Yifan gradually found the feeling of an officer. Although it was not true, the firepower of his men was not fake at all. He had confidence in his heart, and it was no longer a problem to frighten ordinary gangsters like this. This man was completely frightened by Yifan. He climbed down from the roof with trembling hands and feet, and came to the closed iron gate of the yard to open the door for Yifan. The iron gate opened and the soldiers rushed in. Yifan had reason to believe that today's situation would be under his control. The third update today, the first update tomorrow at midnight. Chapter 36. This is the father. Looking at the iron gate opening, Yifan and his people immediately entered the yard. The courtyard door outside was locked, but the door to the room was not. Su Haoren took the lead and pushed the door open. Like the second floor, there are floor bunks and tables on the first floor. A group of young men are sitting around the table. When Su Haoren came in, those people were also very alert and all took out the things in their hands. Because Jiang Shilong obtained the equipment of the unmanned police station, he also had several pistols in his hand, and there were several people downstairs with guns. The other people were holding machetes and spears, and even had explosion-proof shields in their hands. When they saw Su Haoren coming over, they all stood up with a cheer. But they could only stand up, because the dozen or so soldiers who then poured in made them completely dumbfounded. The soldiers followed with cheers and quickly stood up. The steel guns in their hands were raised flat, and the cold light of their bayonets flashed, making them dare not move. Su Haoren strode over and came to two young men with guns pointed at their necks and fierce faces. He picked up the handle of the gun and smashed it down twice, causing the two men's heads to bleed immediately. Screaming and covering his head, Su Haoren easily took the gun in his hand. Everyone squat down, put their heads in their hands and lean against the wall. One of the people who had the gun taken away seemed to be a little dissatisfied. Just when he was about to raise his head to express his dissatisfaction, Su Haoren kicked him in the lower abdomen with his army hook leather shoe. He kicked the man 4 to 5 meters away and hit him hard. On the wall. A mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth, all the fierceness in his eyes had disappeared, and he no longer dared to make the slightest move. Those people almost peed when they saw this scene. Without saying a word, they threw all the weapons aside and squatted in a row against the wall. The only thought in their minds at this moment is that it's over, the army is coming, and everything will be brought back to its original state. The survivors were also trembling. Although they were looking forward to the arrival of the army, many ordinary people actually found it difficult to adapt to the iron-blooded style of the soldiers. Especially the fear mentality is almost inevitable, this is the common people. The mobilization soldiers have occupied various important locations, and the safety of the first floor has been ensured. Only then did Su Haoren turn around, "Sir, it's under control." Only then did Yifan step into the house and his eyes fell directly on his parents. Looking at the haggard appearance of his parents, he felt sour in his heart. But the parents opposite clearly didn't recognize Yifan. Firstly, Yifan was wearing a hat, and secondly, they were backlit. Feeling that the officer opposite was looking this way, my parents even lowered their heads instinctively. Before Yifan could go over and say anything, suddenly a group of people rushed down from the second floor. The people on the first floor can only be regarded as shrimps. The real backbone are on the second floor. Jiang Shilong, his 2 direct subordinates, and 7 or 8 tough young people, almost all of whom have weapons in their hands. Jiang Shilong was shocked when he saw the situation on the first floor. He immediately ducked and pulled Lan Lily and the others in front of him. "Who are you?" Yifan wanted to talk to him at first, but now that the situation was under control, he didn't need to talk anymore. He took off his hat and said to Jiang Shilong over there, "Do you still know me?" Jiang Shilong rubbed his eyes and was stunned. "Why do you look so familiar?" He didn't recognize it, but Lan Lily screamed, "You are Yifan." Yifan snorted. Now that his parents are around, Jiang Shilong's opinion no longer needs to be considered. Take off all their guns and talk about it later. Su Haoran led the wolf-like mobilization soldiers over and took down their guns without saying a word. Facing the powerful firepower and murderous intent of the red police soldiers, they had no chance. Yi Fan walked over and helped his parents over. Yi Jiangwo was also filled with disbelief when he saw Yi Fan. He couldn't believe that the domineering officer in front of him was actually his son. On the contrary, his mother Su Lizhan burst into tears and rushed over to hug Yi Fan. "Xiao Fan, you're not dead, it's great." Hold his crying mother in his arms, Yi Fan felt sad but at the same time felt lucky that his parents could survive, which was really a blessing from God. As long as he could find his sister next, his worries would be over. Father Yi Jiangwo also rubbed his red eyes, feeling moved but also very curious. "How come you, boy, have become an officer?" Yi Fan coughed and said, "Dad, this army has a confidentiality system. You just need to know that I was promoted on an emergency basis. Don't ask about anything else. I will make mistakes if you ask too many questions." Yi Jiangwo is full of curiosity, but he has an old-fashioned personality. Such a person is full of love and respect for the country and the army. Coupled with the mentality of loving and protecting his son, he immediately said when he heard that he would make a mistake, "Then don't tell me. Now that you are here, work hard, don't smear the army, and don't embarrass the country." Yi Fan felt a little guilty, but it couldn't be seen on the surface. He continued to his father, "Dad, I came here specifically to find you this time. You and my mother should pack your things and follow me now." "Let's go?" "Where to go?" Yi Jiangwo asked. "Well, I plan to go find my sister next, and we can be reunited as a family." Su Lizhan's eyes immediately turned red again. These days, she was almost crying to death thinking about a pair of children. She originally thought there was no hope, but now that she saw Mark, she had infinite hope again, and she wished she could have her daughter back by her side immediately. "Are you going to take us to find your sister?" Yi Jiangwo asked. "No, I will take you to another place, and then I will find my sister myself." "You're just going to pick us up? What about our neighbors?" Yi Fan looked at some of the people around Yi Jiangwo, and there were some familiar faces among them. He grew up here since he was a child. There are many fellow villagers in the village, some of whom he has relatives, and some of whom he can name. But these people are not within the scope of Yi Fan's consideration at all. If one of them is taken away, then this person may know someone else, and may also ask to be taken away. In the end, I might just have to take them all away. Yi Fan doesn't feel very close to them, but his parents are different. It's hard to leave their hometown, and it's hard to leave their hometown people. This is the old man. For example, my mother's old sisters have known each other for decades. For example, he has an aunt who is a crooked person. She comes and goes often, and these mothers are reluctant to leave her. The same goes for my father's side, there are also relatives and friends here. Yi Fan was a little anxious. "Dad, can't you come with me first?" Yi Jiangwo's temper got worse. "No, there are only a few people in this world, and one less person dies. Since you have become a soldier, you have to rescue the common people. Besides, before your sister is found, you will take me and your mother away. We're not leaving." After saying that, he simply sat on the bench over there and became stubborn. Mother Su Lizhan was more obedient to her father's words and looked at the two men in a dilemma. Before Yi Fan could continue to persuade, Jiang Shilong suddenly spoke. "Brother Yi Fan, let me say a few words." "What do you want to say?" Jiang Shilong walked over with a smile and approached Yi Fan. "Stand there, don't move, if I take another step forward, I'll break your legs." Su Haoran stopped him. This person was very dangerous and he would not allow him to get close to Yi Fan. Jiang Shilong immediately raised his hands to show that he was harmless. "Brother Yi Fan, you see that Uncle Yi is not willing to go with you, so don't force it. If you ask me, just take your people to stay. As far as I know, there are no soldiers outside anymore, you guys are the only ones left. Stay with my brother, I promise to obey your management, everything is your decision." Beside Yi Fan, Xiaotian and another military dog stared at Jiang Shilong eagerly. If Yi Fan hadn't suppressed him, they would have pounced on him now. Yi Fan's heart moved. He knew that the red police dog had a special ability. Distinguish a spy. Spies disguise themselves as soldiers to steal things, and other combat units cannot identify them. Only military dogs can easily see through. But now that the military dogs are behaving like this, it means that Jiang Shilong has evil intentions. Just as he was about to take action, Jiang Shilong saw that persuading Yi Fan was ineffective, and suddenly said to Yi Jiangwo, "Uncle Yi, please try to persuade Xiao Fan again. You must know that in today's world, money is not important. The most important thing is people. We human beings need to thrive. If most of the people are dead, then there will be no point in living for those who are still alive, so we should stick together as a team." "You are right." Even Yi Fan had to admit that Jiang Shilong's words made sense. He was worried that his father would be persuaded by him. My father has a stubborn temper and takes death seriously. He is often so angry that even 9 oxen cannot control him. Although Jiang Shilong has no good intentions, he is considered a person who saved his parents after all. His father may have fallen into the trap. Yifan felt bad in his heart, so he wanted to immediately order to kill, and kill first and then play. But his father suddenly stood up, took his mother Su Lishan's hand and came behind Yifan. Jiang Shilong was stunned. Uncle Yi, are you? He has known Yi Jiangwo's family for a long time and knows Yi Jiangwo's character very well. He believes that these words will definitely impress Yi Jiangwo. Even if he has done many bad things in the past, the old man will not care about it for some righteous reasons. As long as Yi Jiangwo lets Yifan stay, with his current special abilities, he will definitely have a chance to kill these soldiers and take their guns. Looking at these guns, Jiang Shilong is drooling. As long as he gets these firepower, he can even dominate one side in this apocalypse. So not only was he not nervous when he saw Yifan, he immediately thought about the matter and took action. But now Yi Jiangwo's behavior puzzles him. Has the old man changed his gender? Yi Jiangwo reached behind Yifan and then said to Jiang Shilong, I agree with what you said. Great, then Uncle Yi, what are you doing? Although my old man is a little older, he is not blind. You are not a good person. This is my son. Don't try to trick my son. After speaking, Yi Jiangwo once again took Su Lishan and took a few steps back among the soldiers. Xiaofan, you can do whatever you want now. Your mother and I will pretend we didn't see you. Chapter 37. The Running Man. Jiang Shilong believed that he knew Yi Jiangwo very well and had a thorough understanding of his psychology. But he forgot one thing, that is a father's deep love for his son. Yi Jiangwo is old-fashioned but not confused. Coupled with Jiang Shilong's actions during this period, when he saw him approaching Yifan, Yi Jiangwo immediately knew that this person had evil intentions. Until the end of the world has come, Yi Jiangwo will not let people like Yifan and Jiang Shilong get close. Now that his son has made a difference and has become an officer leading troops, he cannot let Jiang Shilong ruin his son's reputation and affect his future. So he immediately put aside his differences with his son, and cautiously brought his wife closer to his son. No matter whether Jiang Shilong had the idea of jumping over the wall and holding them hostage, he was destined to be unable to realize it. Seeing this scene, Yifan was in a good mood. Since his father told him to let him do whatever he wanted, there was no doubt that Jiang Shilong was up to no good. Although Yifan doesn't know exactly what he did, it doesn't matter. He dares to have evil intentions, which Yifan can't tolerate. He immediately asked the soldiers to take action. But Jiang Shilong was one step ahead of him. Seeing Yi Jiangwo retreat among the soldiers, Jiang Shilong knew that things were going to be difficult today. Although these survivors are obedient now, it is because they can still suppress them. Now that Yifan has come with his army, this situation no longer exists. He had two purposes in rescuing these survivors. The first one is to work and do hard work for him. The second one is used to attract zombies. In order to create a safe living environment for himself, he attracted all the zombies around him away. But he doesn't rely solely on his speed. Every time he went to attract zombies, he would ride a motorcycle and take a survivor there. As soon as the motorcycle rings, attract zombies, try to ride forward, and then abandon the survivors at the critical moment, then ride the motorcycle back, or simply abandon the motorcycle and run back alone. Able to lure zombies 1 kilometer away, he has repeatedly used more than a dozen survivors and exchanged their lives for them. There are about 100 people under his command. His goal is to lure all the zombies out of Chengguan town. All the resources in this town will be his. Survivors dare not speak out about such an approach. Those who resist die faster, but those who don't resist may live a little longer. The survivors seem to be numb to the world. But that was when there was no one to lead them. Now that the army is coming, everything will be different. He knew that these survivors would report him immediately. He could clearly feel the murderous look in Yifan's eyes. Maybe he would take action in the next second. Jiang Shilong immediately thought of running. He didn't think about fighting. Yifan was very vigilant. He was among the soldiers, and there was a special soldier in front of him who didn't look easy to mess with. If he fought recklessly, he was looking for death. He had already thought of an escape route as he spoke. Window. As long as he can climb out of the window, soldiers like Yifan will never be able to catch up with him. It was not that he had nowhere to go when he left Chengguan town. As far as he knew, there was a larger survivor camp about 500 kilometers to the north. Dakingshan prison base. At first he heard the news about the situation in the military region from the radio in Dakingshan. He has an eldest brother, Xinghai, who is a foreman in Dakingshan city. When the apocalypse broke out, he led hundreds of workers to work on a construction site in the suburbs, and most of them died at that time. Later, he led the workers and killed the zombies with shovels and hammers. The remaining 40 or 50 people had nowhere to go, and finally decided to go to the prison to have a look. When they got there, they found that there were basically no living people in the prison. Once they gathered together, they simply established a base here. The prison base has an advantage that other bases cannot match, that is, it has high walls, which is a natural refuge. Every room and vehicle is ready-made, and there are also weapons there, which are beyond the comparison of my own pistols. They are now controlled by Shanghai and some people. The prison base is located in the wilderness with very few zombies. They established themselves calmly and then started recruiting people through the radio. The police station where Jiang Shilong was located also had a set of broadcasting equipment. He also contacted Shanghai through this, and Shanghai asked him to take people to the prison base. It seems that Shanghai's prison base has gathered more than 3,000 people and is still expanding. If Jiang Shilong hadn't felt reluctant to be the master of his own country, he would have found a way to go to Dakingshan to defect to Shanghai. There is no choice now. As long as he leaves here, with his speed ability, he will definitely be able to go to Dakingshan. By then, relying on the hundreds of people under Shanghai who have been armed, he will definitely come back and completely eliminate Yifan and his group. But the premise of all this must be based on his escape from here. Move if you want. Just when Yifan gave the order, Jiang Shilong suddenly burst out. He was very smart. He first pretended to move toward Mark. Su Haoran's first reaction was to stand between Yifan and him, absolutely not allowing anyone to harm Yifan. Taking this opportunity, Jiang Shilong leapt to the side, aiming for the window 3 meters away from his left. His body jumped so fast that people couldn't react. He knocked open the quilt covering the window and broke open the glass and window frame outside. Hurrah! People have rushed out of the window. As soon as Jiang Shilong moved, some people who had done bad things following Jiang Shilong also imitated the same and wanted to grab the window and escape. Seeing this, Yifan directly issued an order: those who escaped will be dealt with on the spot. The mobilization troops who had been waiting in full formation moved. The marksmanship of these 3-star conscripts is already very strong. The survivors who are afraid of screaming in the room have no impact on them who are extremely calm. They are firing with full firepower. During a burst of flames, except for Jiang Shilong, most of the other 7 or 8 people who tried to escape didn't even jump out of the window and were beaten to death directly at the window. Some people had obviously rushed to the window and had a chance to escape, but suddenly army soldiers wearing helmets appeared outside the window. The Baidbar opened fire without mercy, killing those who were about to run out on the windowsill. Seeing that there were still soldiers outside, many survivors had the courage to stand up. Some pointed in the direction where Jiang Shilong escaped. That man has committed a heinous crime, we can't let him escape. Yifan looked at the 2 military dogs around him that ran out as soon as Jiang Shilong made a move, and smiled calmly. In this situation, except for me who can escape smoothly, no other person in the world can do it. Jiang Shilong rushed out of the window, and an army soldier raised his gun and was about to shoot. At the critical moment, Jiang Shilong twisted his body, dodged a string of bullets from the army soldier, and then jumped out from the wall. Put your feet on the ground and run wildly. His speed reached 100 meters in about 8 seconds, which had already broken the previous world record. This is what he relies on to survive. Feeling the strong wind blowing by his ears is a feeling of freedom. It's free. This is a bush. I believed the soldiers would not be able to shoot themselves in the bush. As for speed, he believed that no one could catch up with him. He was deeply proud of himself for being able to escape from this situation. At this moment he really wanted to sing loudly. Sing a song about running. Running with the wind and being free is, fuck. There was a fierce barking of dogs behind him, and 2 black shadows jumped out. It's actually a military dog. It's the 2 big lion-like dogs next to Yifan. His speed is fast, extremely fast. But not as fast as a dog. Seeing the 2 dogs getting closer and closer, Jiang Shilong was in a hurry and saw the Qixing River tributary in front of him. Jump down. Although dogs can also paddle, but I am a good swimmer. I don't believe that the dog can catch me in the water. As long as I go down the river, I can still survive. Using all his strength, when he was about to be bitten on by the dog, he jumped out of the bush and entered the water with a beautiful leap. Looking at the water surface close at hand and feeling the coolness of the water vapor, he became excited again. If he hadn't opened his mouth right now and water might come out of his mouth, he would really want to sing loudly. Sing a song about heaven. Bang! There was a gunshot from somewhere. Plop! The shape of a fish jumps, and the shape of Tai enters the water. Game over. Chapter 38, Lan Lily's Gift, 3rd update. Jiang Shilong's death completely destroyed their evil-doing gang. The key members of Jiang Shilong's side have been beaten to death. Yifan asked his parents and other survivors about the remaining people. Two people who helped Zhang Shilong do bad things were also found out and were dealt with by the Red Alert soldiers. The few remaining minions did not do any serious harm, so Yifan was handed over to everyone to supervise and let them work to see the effects. The mountain that was pressing down on all the survivors was moved away, and everyone was grateful to Yifan. But Yifan now faced a choice. It was impossible to change his father's attitude. Although he stood on his side without hesitation on Zhang Shilong's issue, he refused to leave him. Yifan can understand his father's thoughts. He has lived here all his life. Now the whole world is doomed, and going to other places may not be better than here. Coupled with worrying about my daughter, it is even more impossible to leave. Although the mother didn't say much, it was obvious that she had the same idea as the father. Parents are resolute, and now there are only two ways in front of Yifan. One is to find his sister and leave with everyone, and the other is to simply stay. It is not feasible to take everyone away. The train journey is okay and there will be no danger, but the train can only go to the train station in Coal City, which is where Yifan and the others came from. Further forward, the railway was blocked by two derailed trains. It is unrealistic to take more than 100 people through the city and back to the villa area. Large numbers of people are more likely to attract zombies. Once surrounded, the consequences will be disastrous. The only way is to stay. Staying here, everything will have to start from scratch, and Yifan will also have to bear greater responsibilities. In Zhang Shilong's room on the second floor, Yifan thought for a long time. Although he didn't want to cause too much trouble, his father and Zhang Shilong had some right things to say. The most important thing in the last days is people, and nothing is possible without people. Let's just talk about food. If no one grows crops or raises livestock, one day, his Red Alert soldiers will face the situation of having no food to eat. Should we ask the Red Alert soldiers to pick up hoes and start farming? Yifan didn't want to waste their military qualities. In addition to food, all walks of life in this world also need people, and Yifan does not want to live in a dead and desolate world one day in the future. It seems that I have no choice but to stay for now. Anyway, even if I send my parents back to the villa area, I still have to come back here to look for my sister. Not to mention the time it takes to go back and forth, those vehicles still can't drive through, and it won't have any impact on the firepower. After making this decision, Yifan stopped procrastinating and immediately made the next plan. This Donghua restaurant is in a pretty good location. It is on the edge of the town and close to the wilderness at one end. There is no danger of being surrounded by zombies for the time being. And he wants to make this place safer. First of all, he must eliminate the zombies in the town. There are 30,000 people in the town. He looked at the radar and roughly estimated that the number of red dots was around 25,000. In addition to the survivors here, some people ran to other places, and some were eaten. 25,000 zombies or more or less, and it is not easy to clean them up. Especially since Yifan has other things to do now. One thing is to look for his sister. His parents have found her. She goes to high school in Lingshui County, not far away. He must go and have a look. One more thing is to pick up the Su sisters and Gao Dongliang. Since they are staying here temporarily and will not return to Coal City, they cannot stay there forever. Yifan left 2 mobilization soldiers to protect him in the villa area of Shengshi Jianshan, but it was okay for a small fight, but when there was a real danger, 2 mobilization soldiers were not enough to ensure safety. After thinking about it, Yifan decided to ask the scout Su Haoreng to go back with 4 3-star mobilization soldiers to pick up a few people in the villa area. There are many people and it is difficult to move around. These few people are enough and there will be no problem in traveling through the city. His task is to bring a few people back. As for the mining vehicle and the warrior vehicle, they cannot be driven there for the time being. They can only be placed there first. The mining vehicle is thickly armored and even if the door is locked, no one can get in, let alone said to drive away. As for the warriors, Yifan has no other options for the time being. It's not within the radar range, so he can't recover it even if he wants to. Su Haoreng left with 4 3-star mobilization troops, and Yifan's firepower was suddenly reduced. He will allocate some of the remaining soldiers to guard the Donghua building, and take some to rescue his sister first. After returning, he can start clearing the zombies in Chengguan town. As a result, Yifan immediately felt that his troops were stretched thin. It is not safe if there are few guards, and it is even more unsafe if there are few people to save my sister, because the location where my sister is located is a standard urban area. Lingshui No. 1 Middle School has over 10,000 students. It must be a huge zombie den. Even if you take all the people there, it is not safe, let alone the strength after being dispersed several times. Yifan felt that it was time to expand the size of the army. As well as his officer rank, he must also be promoted to company commander. Should we enter the town now and start killing zombies? The number of people is not enough. While I was thinking, suddenly a voice came from outside, "Stop." Li Biao, Wang Hu and others were guarding the door. "Now someone is coming. Brothers, I am Yi Fan's classmate. My name is Lan Lily. Can I go over and talk to him?" Yi Fan was a little unhappy in his heart. He had also investigated Lan Lily and followed Jiang Shilong just for enjoyment. However, she did not do any other bad things. At most, she was just pretending to be a fake, so she kept her life. But everyone didn't like her very much, so Yi Fan simply arranged a job of chopping pork for her, which was considered as a punishment for her. But Yi Fan didn't expect that she would dare to come to him. Did she think that he would accept her like Jiang Shilong? Then she is simply ridiculous. Although Yi Fan has not had a girlfriend yet, he will not have any interest in this kind of woman. But he still wanted to hear what this woman had to say. "Let her in." Wang Hu opened the door and Lan Lily walked in. Carrying a backpack and wearing a blue low-cut dress that was pulled a little low, he smiled at Yi Fan after he came in. Yi Fan had frost on his face and stared at her coldly. Lan Lily's smile gradually stiffened on her face, and she quietly raised her hand to pull up her clothes again. "What's the matter?" Seeing Yi Fan's attitude, Lan Lily's desire to get close immediately disappeared without a trace. But she still mustered up the courage. "Yi Fan, I know you may hate me, but I also have to explain myself. Even if I don't take the initiative to commit myself to Jiang Shilong, he will not let me go. We women are here, the world is too weak. I have seen him kill women who didn't listen to him. I don't want to die." Yi Fan waved his hand. "Stop talking, that's all your business. I have no interest in it, not to mention you are alive now. As long as you do things honestly, no one will interfere with you in other matters." Yes, but Yi Fan, after all, we are classmates. Now you ask me to chop pork. I really don't have the strength, and I can't stand other people's eyes. Can you give me a chance and let me sew clothes?" Yi Fan looked at her coldly. "Why?" Lan Lily wanted to cry but didn't dare to cry. She put the backpack behind her in front of Yi Fan. "Here are the cash and other things collected by Jiang Shilong. He later found out that he didn't need it, so he gave it all to me. I paid it all. Here you go, give me a chance." Yi Fan was about to let her throw these things out, but the things fell on the table and made a clang sound. "How much cash?" "It's heavy." "Oh, it's not much, it's about 100,000 in cash, and the rest is some gold and silver jewelry, which Jiang Shilong found in Qingguan town during this period." Yi Fan pulled the backpack and took a look, his eyes lit up. He doesn't care about the messy cash, but the gold and silver inside is real. The end of the world has just begun, and some people have not yet changed their minds. They still think cash and gold and silver are good things. Jiang Shilong is no exception, so he has collected a lot. In addition to cash, Yi Fan estimates that there are also 3 types of gold and silver jewelry. 4 pounds. Unexpectedly, this Lan Lily actually sent timely rain. In any case, using her to chop pork is slow and cannot make the best use of everything, so Yi Fan doesn't mind letting her go. "Okay, I'll take the things. You can go out and do sewing work. Someone will arrange it for you when you get outside." Thank you old classmate, thank you Yi Fan." Lan Lily stepped out gratefully, as if she had found a big deal. Lan Lily left, and Yi Fan immediately took out all the gold and silver. "Dee. Sir, we found that precious metals can be converted into money. Do you want to convert them?" "Convert all." "The transformation was successful, congratulations, sir, for getting 2,300 gold. There was actually a total of more than 4 kilograms of gold, which made Yi Fan very happy. This time, he can be promoted to company commander." Chapter 39, New Gift Pack. Yi Fan started saving money to build a radar. Now it will take some time to save enough money to build a tank factory, so he wants to be promoted to company commander as soon as possible. According to his own manpower, a platoon requires 24 combat members and 32 red alert units, not including vehicles. That means that Yi Fan needs 33 red police units to be promoted to company commander authority. Yi Fan currently has a total of 24 red police units, including 11 conscripts, 6 army soldiers, 2 medical staff, 2 dogs, plus scouts, snipers and engineers, exactly 24. Hunter vehicles and mining vehicles are not included in the calculation. To be promoted to company commander authority, he also needs to produce 9 red alert units, of which at least 6 are ordinary combat units, which refer to army soldiers and conscripts. This amount of money was enough for Yi Fan to collect for 2 days, but he didn't expect Lan Lily to bring a surprise. Yi Fan decided to give birth immediately. At present, a squad requires 8 ordinary combat units. He plans to equip each squad with 4 army soldiers and 4 mobilization soldiers. This firepower combination is more balanced. After the army soldiers upgrade to 3 stars, they can use light machine guns. However, although the light machine gun firepower is powerful, continuous high firing also wastes bullets. Under normal circumstances, mobilizing troops can deal with it by firing in bursts. When encountering a powerful enemy, the firepower of army soldiers can make great achievements. Although mobilization soldiers are not as powerful as army soldiers, at least they cost less and can also show their advantage in numbers. They are still very useful for intimidating others. There were 6 army soldiers, and there were still 6 to go. Yifan immediately spent $1,002 to produce them. It's confirmed to produce 6 army soldiers. It will take 12 minutes. Sir, please be patient. In the process of producing army soldiers, Yifan began to produce mobilization soldiers. There are currently 11 mobilization troops, 1 less than enough, but Yifan produced 3 more. Since only 1 is produced, there are still 2 red alert units to fill a platoon, so it is enough to make up the number. But during the process of producing mobilization troops, Yifan felt that each squad should be equipped with a military dog, so another military dog was produced. After all these are completed, he will have 34 red police units under his command. The money in his hand was spent another 600, and there was still 700 left. He did not use it for the time being to see what changes would happen if he was promoted to company commander. A total of 18 minutes passed, and Yifan already knew that new troops had appeared. In order to avoid arousing suspicion from others by appearing directly in the restaurant, Yifan asked the troops to be born 3,000 meters away from here, and then slowly walked over to express that they were coming to join him. DD. Congratulations, sir. The red police unit under your command exceeds 1 platoon and has been upgraded to company commander authority. Sir, please receive the company commander level gift pack. Yifan immediately opened the red alert page, and the gift package in the lower right corner appeared again. Click to take it out, and a new package appears on the table. When you open it and take a look, the first thing that comes into view is the clothes. The clothes have changed this time. In addition to a set of camouflage uniforms, there is also a set of regular officer uniforms. The straight green military uniform, straight trousers, and the armed belt have become more beautiful, and the shoulder straps have become a horizontal bar with 3 stars. This shoulder insignia is at the captain level, which represents Yifan's further military rank. 2 sets of commander's uniforms, company commander level divided into camouflage combat uniforms and regular uniforms. They are well made and have strong protective capabilities. They can withstand attacks from ordinary zombies and small caliber bullets. If damaged, every 24 hours automatically restore to original state. When these 2 sets of clothes appeared, the platoon leader uniform on Yifan automatically disappeared. He took out the company commander's uniform and put it on. There was a mirror in the room. He turned around and looked in the mirror. Camouflage uniforms are okay, but this regular military uniform looks really cool. Especially the big brimmed hat. After putting it on, he even stood up straight involuntarily, as if acting carelessly would be an insult to the clothes he was wearing. If you wear this outfit and go out to other survivor bases, your intimidation and appeal will be almost invincible. This outfit is really cool, but Yifan is a little reluctant to wear it, so camouflage clothes are more casual. He planned to wear this dress on some special occasions. He couldn't put it down and played with it for a long time before putting it down. Sir, when you obtain this set of uniforms, all members of the Red Alert unit will automatically have the authority to have 2 sets of uniforms. However, until you appoint a platoon leader and squad leader, their uniforms will still be ordinary soldier uniforms. Oh, you mean my subordinates also have 2 sets of clothes? Yes, the soldiers have double uniforms. If you appoint a soldier to be a squad leader, the protective capabilities of his uniform will be improved. The protective capabilities of the officer's uniform are better than those of ordinary soldiers. Yifan was very happy to hear that. The red police soldiers must be very handsome and shocking when they put on regular military uniforms. Having seen the uniforms, the next step is the change of the backpack. The first thing is that the backpack becomes a pocket. In the past, Yifan had to carry a bag when moving, but now he doesn't need to. He can turn any pocket unit into a luggage as he likes, and it is much larger than before. Commander's bag, company commander level. It has 4 cubic meters of storage space, has dual effects of preservation and freezing, is unique, and cannot be used by others. 4 cubic meters of space is already a lot of space, which means that Yifan can store more food and other valuable resources. If he had such a big bag, he could bring many things in the mining truck without throwing them away. I can't bring it with me in the villa area. Yifan thought about the left coat pocket and opened it casually. Sure enough, a lot of meat, tobacco, alcohol, and other things that he had stored in the past were inside. And there is a medical kit inside. Commander's medical kit, company commander level. It contains a variety of special medicines. It has a 400% improvement effect on red alert units and a 150% improvement effect on ordinary people. It contains 3 bottles of antiviral serum, which can be used after entering rescue the zombie before it becomes 65% zombie-like. Ordinary drugs are refreshed every 24 hours, and serum is refreshed every 48 hours. The effect of the medicine has been greatly improved, and the quantity has also increased. The healing medicine for the platoon leader level is for 2 people, and the medicine for the company commander level is for 3 people. The effect of the serum has also been improved, and there is also one more bottle. Yifan suddenly had a thought in his mind. Nana, can I take out the medicine inside and wait until 48 hours later to automatically refresh it? In this way, I can store the medicine. Actually, what Yifan wanted to say was bullets, but he was too embarrassed to ask directly. Nana's heartless words shattered his dream. When the original medicine or bullets are not used, new medicines and bullets will not be refreshed. They will be refreshed as much as they are used. Okay, I think that's how it should be. Yifan sighed, but he felt that this was right, and the system would not be able to give him such a big loophole to take advantage of. Having seen the luggage, the next step is to get the gun. Yifan touched his waist first, and sure enough, the 54 was gone. There is a new gun in the gift pack. The gun body is dark and relatively large. Yifan picked up the gun and it felt heavy. Commander's gun, Company Commander level domestic Type 92 military pistol, which replaces the improved version of Type 54. It is divided into 2 models, 5.8mm and 9mm. The Commander's model is a 9mm model with settings on the rear sight and front sight. Equipped with a fluorescent sight, it can be used for aiming at night. The maximum effective range is 80 meters. The gun has 15 rounds of ammunition. It is powerful and has a long range. It is a classic pistol. Yifan held the Type 92 and looked at it up and down for a while. It felt very comfortable to hold. If we just talk about performance, this gun may not be considered top-notch, but it is much better than the previous 54. Especially the amount of ammunition Yifan likes, it has a full 15 rounds. His 54 bullets were too few before and he never had a chance to show off his skills. Now he finally has a chance to use them. Picked up the pistol and took aim. The bright fluorescent sight made Yifan feel that his marksmanship would improve by leaps and bounds. It seems that many zombies and bad guys will die under this gun. This gun is destined to be a magic weapon that will be remembered forever. After fixing the gun problem, what finally appeared in front of Yifan was a brand new car key and a disassembly and assembly drawing of a huge vehicle. This car, Chapter 40, New Units of the Company. When Yifan saw this drawing, he felt it looked familiar, but he still picked up his car keys first. Commander's vehicle, Company Commander level domestic military Xiaolong bulletproof off-road vehicle, independently designed and manufactured in my country, is known as the king of off-road vehicles. It is 6,212mm long, 2,344mm wide, 2,160mm high, and weighs 8 tons. The entire vehicle is bulletproof and can withstand. It is capable of shooting bullets with calibers below 10mm. It is equipped with a collision angle and has explosion-proof tires. It is equipped with a vehicle-mounted QJC-88 vehicle-mounted machine gun. It uses 12.7mm bullets. The gun has an ammunition capacity of 3,000 rounds. It can cause damage to low-altitude targets at 2,000 meters and ground targets at 1,500 meters. Blow. The maximum number of persons in the vehicle is 15, the number of bullets is restored 24 hours a day, and the gun itself will not suffer mechanical failure. Note, vehicles will not be upgraded. Yifan was stunned for a moment. He had only heard about this car and had never seen the real thing. In terms of reputation, it may not be as famous as the Warrior, but its practicality is greater than that of the Warrior. Whether it's volume, weight, crew capacity, or off-road capabilities, it's all above the Warrior's. Moreover, the car equipped by the Red Alert system is also bulletproof. Guns such as 56 punch and bite bar cannot pose a threat to this car. Especially equipped with this machine gun, its firepower is comparable to that of a mining vehicle. Compared with this Xiaolong, the Warrior cannot be said to be a scumbag, but it can only be said to be a younger brother. Sir, your new car has appeared, but the Dongfeng Warrior is currently outside the radar range and the recovery function cannot be used for the time being. Yifan knew this, but he also felt a little regretful in his heart. If the Warriors were recovered, a group of infantry could be released. Then where is my car? There are a large number of survivors nearby, so it is inconvenient for Xiaolong to suddenly appear. When you complete the production of soldiers and are promoted to company commander, the vehicles will slowly come here driven by the soldiers. Oh, that's great, it will be here soon. Yifan glanced out the window expectantly, and even saw a huge off-road vehicle driving at a high speed in the distance. Resist the idea of going out to take a look immediately. After all, he is the commander and needs to be more cautious. Finally he saw the drawing. Why is there a drawing? It's like a design drawing. Yi Fan's eyes suddenly widened. This car, why does it look a little familiar? But it doesn't feel like it, what's going on? Nana gave the answer. Sir, your feeling is correct, this one is the construction drawing of the base vehicle. Base vehicle? Is this really a base vehicle? Yi Fan was a little excited. After getting the red alert system, if he had any biggest dream, the first step would be to get a base vehicle. Only with a base vehicle can he be qualified to build a base, produce mines, and build various physical buildings. At that time, he will not be like a rootless duckweed, and he will truly be qualified to say that he has a firm foothold in this end of the world. Without a base vehicle or a physical building, everything is just a castle in the air and unstable. However, this base vehicle seems to be somewhat different from the one in the red alert. If he were not the commander and did not have the red alert system, he would never be able to recognize that this was the red alert's base vehicle. Sir, the red alert system has been improved. The base vehicle is different from before, whether it is in a car form or in an unfolded form. Even if someone sees it, they will not recognize it as a red alert base vehicle. So that's how it is. Yi Fan took the drawing and looked at it, but soon became dizzy. The various element symbols, complex formulas, rare metals and complicated technologies on it made him, a college student, feel illiterate. Can anyone understand this? Engineers can understand it, and only red alert engineers can understand it. Okay, Huang Jia, come here. Nana immediately informed engineer Huang Jia to come to the room. Study this drawing clearly, put forward what is needed, and strive to build this car as soon as possible. This is our first priority at the moment. Sir, I will research it immediately, but the research speed may be a bit slow for me alone. If there are more engineers, the research progress will definitely be greatly accelerated. How long does it take for you to come up with a plan by yourself? It takes me about 2 months by myself. Adding an engineer will shorten the time by half. Engineers will also be needed for future construction. It's best for the commander to provide a few more people. Yi Fan nodded. What Huang Jie said makes sense, but he is really tight on money now, and the situation with his sister must be dealt with as soon as possible. When this matter is completed, he will vigorously promote the research and development of the base vehicle. You go ahead and I will provide you with an assistant as soon as possible. Huang Jie took the drawings and left. Now among the several single rooms on the second floor, only Yi Fan and Huang Jie live in single rooms. Originally, he wanted his parents to live here, but his parents refused, saying they didn't want to be special. Knowing his father's temper, Yi Fan couldn't force him. After reading the commander's gift package, Yi Fan opened the red alert page again. It is a little different from the game. In the game, unlocking troops and upgrading buildings require the construction of the previous building. After reaching reality, there are 2 lines, one is construction and the other is promotion of military rank. The firepower configuration of a platoon is of course much stronger than that of a squad, such as having more engineers, snipers, and scouts. As for the firepower configuration of a company, it must be stronger than that of a platoon. Yi Fan looked at the building page. This page has not changed. The only virtual building he can build now is the chariot factory. Nana has already told her clearly. The buildings on the defense page have not changed much. It seems that the company commander has not unlocked the defense authority. Originally, Yi Fan didn't have much hope for buildings. The most important thing was soldiers. Opening the soldier page, Yi Fan's eyes lit up. Sure enough, the configuration of the company is different from that of the platoon, with several new additions. First of all, the quotas for the 2 types of soldiers, scouts and snipers, have been increased. There is only 1 scout and sniper quota in a platoon, but at the company level, the number of these 2 arms has been increased to 3. In addition to this change, 3 new arms have been added. Cooking Squad Warrior cost 100 gold. Flamethrower Warrior cost 500 gold. Bazooka Warrior cost 1200 gold. Yi Fan has long known about the cooking class. There is no cooking class in platoon level units, but with a large number of company level combat groups, eating is a big problem, and cooking classes are also necessary. Even though Yi Fan is among the survivors now, people's hearts are apart, and no one can guarantee that a survivor doesn't have other thoughts. In Yi Fan's heart, except for his parents and sisters, no one is as important as his red police soldiers. Diseases enter through the mouth, and what you eat is also very important, so the members of the cooking class are also very important. Maybe the food made by the soldiers in the cooking class is not as delicious as those made by famous chefs, but it is definitely much better than those canned compressed biscuits and meat. Flamethrower warriors are even more powerful. The power of the flamethrower cannot be resisted by humans. During the war, this weapon has repeatedly performed extraordinary feats. Often when more than a dozen people from the opponent charge forward, the flamethrower is immediately reduced to charcoal as soon as it is fired. Although the main enemy now is zombies, zombies are still flesh and blood after all, and they cannot survive for too long under the attack of flamethrowers. Even mutated zombies may just last a little longer. Let alone the rocket launcher. If nothing else, the pipe of the rocket launcher, which is comparable to the muzzle of a gun, has proven that the power of this thing is not comparable to that of any firearm. Yifan believes that whether it is facing armored zombies, heavy vehicles, light tanks, or even walls, the rocket launcher can play a huge role. And Yifan feels that the shape of the rocket launcher warrior is a bit like the anti-aircraft infantry in Red Alert. But the price difference is too big, so I guess adjustments have been made. The cost of anti-aircraft infantry is only 300 gold, but this one is as high as 1,200. 1,200 gold is also the highest cost per soldier among all Red Alert units currently owned by Yifan, but it is definitely worth the money. It's just that Yifan is tight now. After adding more troops, he only has 700 gold, and the bazooka warrior can't afford it. Looking at the 700 gold, I realized that it would be the same if I kept it, so I might as well spend it. Nana, give me 2 more cooking class warriors and 1 flamethrower warrior. They are all born in the Xiaolong car. Bring them to me together.